So, dito na lang lahat. Pa kulang. 10 pa kulang. Absent? Sinang absent? Hello, my miss. So, good morning. So, our first topic in clinical pharma would be special aspects of pediatric and perinatal pharmacology. Lock natin. Okay. So, the references are as follows. So, Katsung, ang dami, no? Okay. So, Nelson's Textbook of Pediatrics, sabi ko nga, it will be the 21st edition because on the 22nd edition, wala siyang pediatric drug therapy. But for maternal drugs, okay, that can be given during pregnancy and teratogenic effect, you can refer to 21st edition as well as yung 22nd edition if you have one. Okay? Next is applied therapeutics, clinical use of drugs. So, the pattern of the format of the lecture for today, I patterned it from applied therapeutics, okay, including the cases. So maganda siya yung pagka-explain. So if you can download, nagano ba, nag-promote pa download, ay hindi bumibili, hindi biro lang. Okay, so Rangendale and then KIP, but in the KIP you can check on the adverse drug reaction. Okay? Yun yung nakalimutan ko. Clicker. So the objective of this lecture is to discuss the special aspect of pediatric and perinatal pharmacology. And that will be the format of our lecture. So we'll discuss the growth and development, pharmacodynamic differences, pharmacokinetics, medication dosing, lactation, as well as teratogenic mechanism. Fortunately, the lecture is still the same as last year. Okay? Nagtitingin akong update, walang update. Okay? So, same pa rin, hindi nagbago ang kinetics among children, okay? As well as yung dynamics. So, now let's discuss. Why is it important to study pediatric and perinatal pharmacology, Kat? Why is it important? Why do we need to study this one?
Kasi pag media po, iba po yung pwede po iba yung dosage na binibigay dapat sa kanila.
Okay. So, sabi niya, kapag pediatric patient, iba yung dosage. Bakit kaya iba ang dosage?
Kasi yung sa kumbaga nag-grow pa po sila, hindi pa po fully develop yung ibang organs.
Okay. So, later, I hope, after this lecture, you'll be able to understand the difference of the dosing schedule and the required dosage for pediatric compared to adult. Why is the dosage among pediatric patient, in some drugs, is lesser, but in some drugs, higher din. Okay? It doesn't mean that pediatric patient, you usually give always na lower dose. There are some drugs wherein the dose of the drug is higher among pediatric compared to adult. So, for this morning, we'll be discussing the reason behind the different dosing schedule. Pero fortunately, marami ng books like Harriet Lane, Nelson, who provided us the dosages of the different drugs as well as the recommended dosage. Ang gagawin lang natin is to memorize. But the purpose of this lecture is for you to understand bakit ganito siya nag-dose. Okay? So, dapat hindi lang na memorize. So, when you rotate in pediatrics during clerkship, you would appreciate, kaya pala ganito, kaya pala daming minememorize na dosage. Okay? So, one requirement, you should have your own calculator. Okay? So, ngayon kung wala, pwede yung cellphone, pero next week, you should have your own calculator, and then, pati sa exam.
Pwede na po yung scientific.
Pwedeng scientific, okay lang. Basta, pero kung wala kayong calculator, kung gusto nyo mag-manual, pwede rin naman. Okay, wala naman mga square root dito. So next is, before discussing the different drugs, even though they are classified as pediatrics, parang napaka-broad ng age, okay? You should identify what age group siya, okay? Because even though you're dealing with a pediatric patient, a dose for a neonate is different from a toddler and from an adolescent. So these are the commonly used age definition: premature, term, neonate, infant, child, and adolescent. So hindi ko nasasabihin, meron na kayong kopya. Alam na alam. Okay, ito lang yung nabago. So, nabago lang ang picture. Okay? Pero yung content is still the same. So, my objective is for you to understand the interaction and the importance of knowing the pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, including pharmacogenomics, because these three factors would affect the drug response. Okay? When you give a drug, what will be the effect on the infant? Will there be an adverse effect, especially for pharmacogenomics? Pharmacogenomics, we refer to the, mostly the effect would be on the adverse drug response. Okay? For example, there are patients who are considered as poor metabolizer, wherein when you give a drug, if they are poor metabolizer, so a drug would stay in the systemic circulation for a longer period of time, producing toxicity. Meron naman yung rapid metabolizer, wherein when you give the same dose, dahil rapidly metabolize, you would not achieve the desired effect. Okay? And then, pharmacokinetics, we refer to your ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism, as well as excretion. And for the pharmacodynamics, what is pharmacodynamics? What is the difference between kinetics and dynamics? Effect of the drug. So, for the drug to have its effect, it should bind to the receptor. Okay? Because in pharmacodynamics, it would affect, in pediatric patient, it would affect the response of the drug by binding to the receptor, whether high ang number ng receptor or less ang response to the receptor, as well as to the reaction. Because for a drug to produce its effect, reviewing your basic pharmacology, it should bind to the receptor. Okay? So let's start with pharmacodynamic differences. So these pharmacodynamic differences in pediatric patients, sabi ko nga, would affect the drug response as well as it may also produce the adverse drug reaction. For the drug response, the main effect that differ pediatric patient to the adult patient would be the receptor. Okay? So example of receptor is your GABA receptor. So what will be the effect of binding of GABA to the GABA receptor? What is the effect of GABA? Parang wala akong mic, parang parehas lang ang hindi malakas. Sige. Is it excitatory, inhibitory?
Ay, GABA po, inhibitor. Glutamic.
Hello, Michael. Ayan, mas malakas pa. So, it is inhibitory. So, binding of GABA to the GABA receptor would cause opening of the chloride channel. Sige, papas natin yan. Causing, So, sabi niya, bakit dito ako umupo sa harap? Mamaya lalagyan natin sa likod ang mic. Okay? So, opening of the chloride channel. So, hyperpolarization would cause inhibition. Okay? So, in infancy, there is reduced number of your GABA receptor. Okay? But as you increase in age, there's a maximum increase of your GABA receptor between 2 years. So, what is the significance of knowing the number of receptors? Will there be a difference in the drug effect or drug response when you give benzodiazepine at the same dose? For example, whiteboard marker. report. Okay. Okay. So if you give benzodiazepine, ayan, nag-practice na ako magsulat. Gumanda na ba? Compared last. So benzodiazepine to patient A and patient B. Okay? So same dose. 1 milligram. Okay? Age of patient A is, how do you define kasi yung infant, what will be the age group?
1 month to
Okay. So halimbawa, binigay natin sa 2 months old. Ito, binigay natin sa 6 years old. Will the response of diazepam be the same, or midazolam be the same with patient A and patient B, doctor? Why?
Receptors po sa 2 months.
Less receptor sa 2 months old. More receptor with 6 years old. Next. So, which among these two would have the greater response?
So the 6-year-old would have a greater effect.
Greater effect. Less effect at the same dose. So, how would you now adjust the dose? Dr. Makay? Increase the dose of patient A, patient B. Patient A. Okay. Increase the dosage. That's why, so if you check the dosage for midazolam, this is from Harriet Lane. Okay? So the dosage for a 6 months to 5 year is greater compared to an older child. Okay? So yun yung rationale, why is there a difference between the dosage? Parehas lang na pedya, bakit meron pa siyang range na pag 6 months to 5, ganyan ang dosage, okay? Pag older, much higher, okay? So there's also one study wherein they have noted that among infancy, there is increase in the intracellular chloride. So sometimes when they give benzodiazepine, aside from being a sedative or anticonvulsant, it may also trigger excitation. That's why in some cases, though very limited lang ang case, when you give benzodiazepine to infant, it may trigger seizure. Okay? So that is one difference. So another example is this case. Dr. Pakibasa?
Hello. PT, an 800-gram infant was delivered via vaginal delivery with a poor Apgar score and an estimated gestational age of 30 weeks. Neonatal resuscitation was done and dopamine infusion was started at a rate of 10 microgram per minute and quickly titrated to 15 microgram per minute. What might explain this lack of response?
Okay, so neonatal resuscitation was done. So, galing na kayo ng pedya. Okay? So, you know what is Apgar? Huh? So, what is Apgar?
Scoring point.
Oo, what does Apgar stands for? Anong Apgar? Kaya di ba pag nag-catch ka, pag nasa pedya rotation, nag-catch, yun yung laging tatanong, anong Apgar, anong Apgar? Kasi, okay, your plan of management would depend on the Apgar score. Do you need resuscitation o stable ang patient? What does Apgar stands for? Any volunteer? Apgar. Yes. Sige. Sa likod. What is Apgar?
Appearance, pulse, greenness, activity, and respiration.
What is good Apgar score? What is the score for a good Apgar score? Siyempre 10, di ba? Pero in clinical practice, you rarely see 10. Okay? Mostly, so you check it at 1 minute and 5 minutes, di ba? Usually 8 and 9. Okay? So for Apgar score, and then AOG is 30 weeks. So neonatal resuscitation done, dopamine infusion. Why was dopamine infusion started on this case? Poor Apgar, meaning the patient is not crying, cyanotic, limp, poor respiration, so there are signs of cardiovascular collapse. Why was dopamine given on this case? Yes, pass the mic. Remember that part of your grade would be class standing. Kaya pag pray nyo, matawag kayo para may score na. Okay? Kaya pinapasa ko para lahat may score for class standing. Why was dopamine? So unang tanong muna, what is dopamine? What is the effect of dopamine? What is dopamine? Mechanism of action of dopamine. Yes? O pass the mic. Wala friend.
Monotropic and inotropic effects po to.
Okay. So the effect of dopamine would depend on the dose, di ba? So at a lower dose, what will be the effect of dopamine? Doktora?
Stimulate po, which would increase the blood flow.
Mostly the effect will be on the renal perfusion. As you increase the dose, what will be the effect?
It would increase the heart rate. Increase the heart rate.
Heart rate ba agad? What receptor are stimulated when you increase the dose? So the lower dose, meaning less than 5 microgram per kilo. Intermediate dose would be 7.5 to 10. Higher dose would be more than 10. Intermediate dose, what will be the effect? What receptors are stimulated?
Beta 1.
It's the
Beta 1.
beta 1, the alpha receptors. So where can you find the alpha receptors? Alpha 1, alpha 2. Is it the alpha 1 or alpha 2 that are stimulated? The alpha 1. So what will be the, where are they located? Location of alpha 1 receptors. Next. Okay, on the blood vessel. So what will be the action of your alpha 1? When they are stimulated, they would cause vasoconstriction. Okay? So, in here, the patient was started on 10 microgram per minute and quickly titrated to 15 microgram, meaning the desired response of vasoconstriction, okay, to restore the blood pressure of the patient was not achieved. But why was the dose increased from 10 to 15? Or why was there no response to 10 microgram? Doktora? Ano kaya ang problem? Why is there decreased response with dopamine? Kasi, di ba, in a normal patient or in an adult patient or older patient, a dose of 10 microgram would stimulate the alpha receptor, supposedly. A dose of 15 microgram per minute would cause signs and symptoms similar to your epinephrine stimulation. So it would cause vasoconstriction as well as tachycardia. But why was this patient required higher dose to produce vasoconstriction? Ano kaya ang problem niya? So ang problem is on the dynamics, right? Because it's on the effect, therapeutic effect. Why was there lack of response to low dose or intermediate dose of dopamine?
Is it possible that there's
Because of the?
low receptor?
Okay. So in premature, okay, and neonate, they have noted that there is decreased response to your dopamine receptor. Okay? So para yung kanina yung sa GABA. Okay? So infants have long been suspected to be relatively resistant to the effects of your beta-adrenergic agonist including your dopamine, dobutamine, and epinephrine. So, for this child to achieve the desired response, you need to increase the dosage. Okay? So, dapat, alam nyo, okay, why was this dosage increased in this patient? Okay? So, always assess and reassess. In clinical pharma, when you give or when you prescribe a drug, always assess and reassess any intervention that you give to the patient. So next, adverse drug reaction. So they have noted that there is increase in the risk for having toxic epidermal necrolysis or cutaneous side effect when you give lamotrigine among pediatric patient. Okay? So that is pharmacodynamics. Because in some questions, for the prelim exam, prelim na agad, no? Parang first topic lang, prelim na agad sinasabi ko. In some questions, you need to analyze, okay? Not only memorize, kasi di ba yung mga previous exam, I know, na-endorse, okay? Previous exam, anong age group, okay? Glucuronidation, what age group, hydrolytic enzyme, what age group, yung mga age group. This time, I want you to analyze what caused the decrease in the effect, or what caused, or what is the reason or rationale behind increasing or prolonging the dosage, okay, or dosing interval, okay, by understanding the kinetics and dynamics of the different drugs. Okay? I'll not be discussing specific drugs. Pero sabi ko nga, during the orientation, I've told you that I'll give you the drug dosage. Piprint ko na lang. So, kukulin ko lang from Nelson as well as Harriet Lee. Okay? That you need to memorize kasi parang ang dami naman. So, I'll be just giving the commonly used drugs in pediatric patients. So, kinetics, ADME. Okay? So, now let's discuss the pharmacokinetic difference in pediatric patient. So, there are factors that would alter the pharmacokinetic properties. And they are classified into two, whether intrinsic, ayan, genotype, part is pharmacogenomics, as well as extrinsic, like variability and adherence or synbiotic exposure. So first is absorption. Okay? There are different factors that would affect absorption. And what would determine the absorption of the drug? What would determine? When we say absorption, anong iniisip mo sa drug? Yes, doktora? Ay, Jan?
Yung pong delivery po ng drug.
Okay, delivery. Can you name the different forms of delivery of drugs?
Oral.
Oral.
Buccal.
Okay, mucosal. Ano pa?
IV.
Parenteral. Ano pa?
Rectal.
Rectal. Ano pa? The last one is sa derma. Topical. Okay? So next. So bioavailability is the amount of drug that is delivered to the bloodstream. So in basic pharma, di ba, we have discussed the bioavailability of the different drugs. There are some drugs wherein when you give it per parenteral or per orem, they have the same bioavailability. Okay? So the overall bioavailability of most orally administered meds in children is adequate. Okay? So these are the dosage form. So there are several forms of drug administration as mentioned by Doctora. And there are also factors that would influence drug absorption, particularly for IM and subcutaneous route. For IM would be the blood flow at the site of administration. So, what is the difference between the blood flow among preterm and neonate to an adult patient? Glenn?
Reduce po yung blood flow
Among
yung
younger patients. So, what will be the effect or significance or implication of reduced blood flow when you give a drug IM or sub-Q?
Slow, mas matagal po yung effect niya. Slower po yung on.
Slower ang effect o slower ang absorption? What is slow?
Absorption.
So, if there is slow absorption, what will be the drug response?
Store absorption for drug response would be minimal as compared to those with more faster blood flow.
Okay, so if you have a patient, halimbawa patient A, preterm, okay? Kaya lang, what is one common problem among pediatric patient when you manage them is that difficult IV insertion, okay? So if you have a patient with neonatal sepsis, and then the patient is receiving ampicillin and gentamicin, what is the mechanism of action of ampicillin? Or drug class? Ampicillin? What is ampicillin? Sige, doktora, next. What is ampicillin? Penicillin, mechanism of action. Is it a macrolide? Any other answer? Saan tayo? Dito, hindi na. Drug class. Penicillin, ampicillin. And mechanism. Yung unang lecture, pag midterms. It's a beta-lactam, cell wall inhibitor. Next. Gentamicin, drug class. Gentamicin, amikacin, streptomycin. Lecture ni Dr. De Guzman. Aminoglycoside, okay? So, if you give a drug, so preterm siya, tatawag ang nurse, Doktora, IV out, anong gagawin natin? Can we give it through IM or sub-Q? Kasi no IV line, okay? So, if you ordered IM, okay? And knowing that premature patient have small muscle mass, and then weaker contraction, and decrease in immature vasculature, meaning the absorption of the drug would be slower, but when the patient becomes well, so increase in perfusion, there will be increase in the absorption, which may lead to toxicity. Okay, so be careful when you give the drug to through IM among pediatric patient. So there are some physiologic conditions that may reduce the blood flow: cardiovascular shock, vasoconstriction to sympathomimetic agents, as well as heart failure. Okay. Ano ba ang adverse effect ng aminogly? So, halimbawa, ito ang kanyang IV line, kaya lang na IV out. So you give it through IM. But the muscle mass of a preterm is very small, and there is weak contraction and decrease in immature vasculature. So when you give 5 milligram, the absorption is low, but when the patient becomes well, so rapid ang blood flow, so the concentration of your aminoglycoside may be increased rapidly, causing adverse effect or toxicity. Diba, with aminogly, ideally you monitor the concentration, okay? Because you want to monitor the adverse effect, which are ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity. Okay. So next, so there is reduced muscle blood flow in the first few days of life, and relative efficiency of muscle contraction. Increased percentage of water per unit of muscle mass may delay the rate and extent of drugs given IM to neonate. So this is particularly true for water-soluble drugs like your aminoglycosides. So can you read the case, Doktora?
A routine care for neonates during the first hours of life generally includes administration of erythromycin eye ointment for prevention of neonatal ophthalmia and 1 mg of phytonadione or vitamin K1 given intramuscularly to prevent vitamin K deficiency bleeding report. How would you explain the rationale for giving phytonadione IM rather than oral?
Okay, so di ba when you see a patient, so clerk na, isipin nyo, nasa 4th year na kayo. So magka-catch. And then, so, ayan, resuscitation, check the ABCAR score, and then punta na kayo sa nursery. So routine newborn care would include erythromycin eye ointment, vitamin K, tapos cord care, hepatitis B, BCG. So, When the mother asks or the relative asks, kasi nakita ni Lola, "Ay, bakit mo in-inject ang apo ko?" Umiyak siya, nasaktan. "Why did you give IM, vitamin K? Bakit di na lang oral?" Doktora?
Kasi po yung IM is mas slow po yung absorption.
Okay? So, kung slow absorption ng vitamin K, and so, bakit di na lang oral? What do you want to prevent? First is, why is vitamin K given to a neonate? To prevent what?
To prevent bleeding po.
Okay, so hemorrhagic disease of the newborn. Okay, so if the absorption of vitamin K is low, okay, what is the advantage of giving IM vitamin K kung slow siya? Parang, di ba slow nga absorption? Bakit matagal? Bakit hindi mabilis? Why not give it parenteral para mabilis? Doktora Caceres?
So, it will take effect po until the baby is able to drink enough breast milk po.
Okay. Kasi diba, the source of your vitamin K would be from your breast milk as well as milk formula. If you give it parenteral, yes, rapid absorption, but it will not sustain the required vitamin K needed for the baby. So the advantage of giving IM vitamin K is that slow absorption, it would maintain the level of vitamin K needed until there is adequate amount of vitamin K that can be given per orem through breast milk or milk formula. So hindi lahat negative. Okay? So yung kanina, slow ang effect and increase the risk because of poor perfusion, decreased muscle contraction, small muscle mass. But with vitamin K, the benefit is that Depo-like effect, it would sustain the level of your vitamin K in the circulation. So next is GI function. So yon, pinanganak siya, okay? Poor Apgar. And then, you plan to admit the patient and you're suspecting of neonatal sepsis. So how would you now administer the drug? Okay? So sasabihin ni Lola, laging Lola no? Kasi in clinical practice, mostly Lola talaga yung kausap. Okay? Kasi bagong panganak ang mami, nasa DR. So Lola ang kausap. Si Daddy nasa billing. Okay, biro lang. Okay? So in clinical practice. So syempre, you would talk to the grandparents. Dapat prepared ka. Okay? So how would you now advise the grandparents that the patient would be admitted and needs to be, that you need to reinsert IV line to administer the IV meds? They would ask, bakit di na lang oral, doktora? Amoxicillin na lang. Okay? Why not amoxicillin? Why do you need to insert IV line in my apo, which is a newborn?
One of the factors that affects the drug absorption would be the GI functions, and we know that in neonates or even in infants, the functions of the GI is fluctuating. So from every year, every month, there's a fluctuation. For example, the pH, the function of the intestines. So if we're going to insert IV with the baby, it would be a better option to administer the drug rather than go per order, because there will be fluctuations with the function of the GI.
Okay. So the absorption of the drug may vary because number one, gastric pH. Okay, at birth it is alkaline. So there are some drugs, your weak acid, okay, so they will not be readily absorbed, okay. Another one is, aside from the gastric pH, the peristalsis as well as gastric emptying time. So the bioavailability of the drug would be lesser because of less absorption din. Okay, kaya sasabihin nyo, better pa rin po parenteral. Okay, kaya we need to insert an IV line. So GI enzyme activities are lower in the newborn, like your alpha amylase and other pancreatic enzymes. Lower levels of metabolic enzyme activity may reduce the first pass metabolism. Low concentration of bile acid lipase, which decrease the absorption of lipid-soluble drugs. So this is from Nelson that summarizes the developmental alteration in intestinal drug absorption. Number 1 is the gastric pH. So it would reach the adult level by 3 to 7 years old. Okay? So at birth, it is alkaline. Why is it alkaline at birth?
Yung po, hindi pa po mature yung parietal.
Okay, because of the immaturity of the parietal cells, right? So after 4 to 6 hours, so there will be increase in the secretion of your acid. And then, intestinal motility, reduce among neonate and increase in infant. What will be the implication of reduced intestinal motility? Okay, don't just memorize the table. So what will be the effect of reduced intestinal motility in neonate compared to children? Anong effect niya? Kung mabagal ang intestinal motility,
Yung rate of absorption po, no?
ha?
Yung absorption.
Kaya ano yung effect niya sa absorption?
Decrease po.
Decrease?
Ay,
Kung reduce ang intestinal motility, what will be the effect of the absorption?
Prolong.
Pwedeng prolong. Okay? So, intestinal surface area, microbial colonization, so biliary function. So, the response of the drug would also differ whether the mother is breastfed, vaginally delivered, or formula fed din because of the microbial colonization. Memorize the adult levels kung kailan. So, per-oral absorption, the rate and extent of per-oral depends primarily on the pH, okay, as well as the motility of the stomach and intestinal tract. So, both factors will influence the transit time. So, why is penicillin have greater absorption among neonate compared to phenytoin, which has lower absorption? Can you explain this picture? Why is penicillin and erythromycin have greater absorption when given per orem among neonate compared to phenobarbital and phenytoin?
Yung penicillin po, Dok.
Si penicillin, okay. So they are
It's considered po as strong acid.
strong acid. And then, si phenytoin at saka phenobarbital are weak acid. But why is there low absorption of your phenytoin and phenobarbital among neonate? Any volunteer? Yes, Doctora, pass the mic.
Yung phenobarbital po and phenytoin, mas lower po kasi mas weak po sila or
So, weak acid sila. So, weak acid will be better absorbed in what environment? Acidic or basic environment? Alkaline environment?
basic po.
Weak acid, do you agree? Weak acid are better absorbed in basic or acidic environment? In acidic. Kaya lang dito, neonate, okay? So, what is the pH in the neonate? Alkaline. Kaya, lower ang absorption niya. Okay? So, how would you know whether this drug would be easily absorbed or less absorbed? So, you should know their classification, whether they are strong acid, acid labile, weak acid, weak base. Okay? So, this patient, a 3-week-old child, suffering from seizure. Okay? So, when given parenteral phenobarbital, the maintenance dose is 7.5 mg OD and the trough serum concentration is 17.5. When you give it per orem, the maintenance dose same as parenteral, but the trough serum concentration is lower. How would you explain this table, Doctora? Same dose, but why is the serum trough concentration of your phenobarbital different when you give it parenteral or per orem? Ano ba ang phenobarbital? Weak acid, acid labile. Weak acid. Okay? So, yung previous kanina, ayan. So, phenobarbital, lower absorption. Okay? In 3-week-old child. So, how do you now explain the lower concentration of phenobarbital when given per orem? Any volunteer? Nagbo-volunteer siya. Sige. Pass the mic. Ikaw. Oo, naririnig kita. Sige. Kaya mo yan.
Isa kasi po ba sa explanation kanina, erythromycin is an acid.
Weak acid.
Weak acid. So, hindi po siya na-absorb.
Okay.
If binigay siya through oral.
Okay, kasi yung environment is alkaline pa. Kaya, less absorption, kaya when you give a drug, in different routes, IV, oral, less ang serum trough concentration. So, you give a drug, and then you measure the level of your phenobarbital. When you give it parenteral, higher, kasi 100% bioavailability. When you give it per orem, since phenobarbital is a weak acid, okay, it would have less absorption when you give it per orem. Kaya less absorbed, less ang serum concentration. Nakuha? Okay. So, para mga ganyan ang exam. So, I'll give the table, okay? You check what caused the decrease in the concentration. Ayan. So, higher gastric pH, reduced lactate. Next is transdermal. So, with transdermal and percutaneous administration, among pediatric patient, there is enhanced absorption. Okay? Because of the better epidermis hydration and greater perfusion. So, if you have a patient with atopic dermatitis, what is atopic dermatitis, Doktora? Atopic dermatitis. Okay, so eczema, they would present with rashes among neonate. Usually, you would see atopic dermatitis among 0 to 6 months of age. So, recurrent, pruritic, dry, okay? So, and then, you apply moisturizer and you also apply steroids. Okay, you can give hydrocortisone. But watch out for the adverse effect of hydrocortisone because among pediatric patients, sabi nga, better hydration, greater perfusion, so more ang absorption of drug. So, when you give topical drug, less dapat. Okay? So, there are some drugs that are contraindicated among pediatric patients, like your hexachlorophene, which may cause seizure, kaya it is contraindicated. Povidone iodine, saan ginagamit ang iodine, di ba? Among mga lola, pag may sugat, lagi bubuhusan ng betadine. Okay? So, we rarely use iodine, betadine among pediatric patient because it may affect the thyroid function. So when you apply betadine, make sure to clean it after 30 minutes to minimize the absorption. Hydrocortisone, when prescribed more than 2 weeks, it may suppress the HPA axis. Aside from atopic dermatitis, in clinical practice, you would see parents using steroids for diaper rash. Okay? Kaya makikita mo ang nipis-nipis na thinning of the skin and prolonged use. So you should explain why, how to use this drug. So when you when you instruct the parent, so apply thinly on the affected area once a day or twice a day. Do not exceed this drug beyond 2 weeks because it may affect your hypopituitary axis, hypothalamic pituitary axis. Tapos sasabihin niya, anong pinagsasabi ni doktora? Okay. So, in clinical pharma, I want you to develop yung communication skills. Kaya next week, there is a role play, di ba? As mentioned during the orientation. So, mukhang 42 o 43, gugroup ko na ng canvas. So, and then, unfortunately, yung workbook natin is not yet available. I will just upload, okay, the workbook. So, may role play next Tuesday. So, we have a patient. Pakibasa.
Case. A 6-month-old infant was rushed to the emergency room due to due to a tachypnea accompanied by a high-grade fever. His parents had tried giving him oral acetaminophen, but he is vomiting and unable to take liquids. Is rectal administration of acetaminophen an acceptable option for him in the hospital after he has been sterilized?
What is acetaminophen? What is acetaminophen? Biogesic na rin ko. Nag-promote na ba na? What is acetaminophen? Why was it given to this patient? Anti-what? Antibiotic? Why was acetaminophen given? The patient is vomiting with fever, tachypnic. Why was acetaminophen given? To reduce the fever. Okay? So I want you to know then why was the drug given. Okay? So it is an antipyretic. So in clinical practice then, pag nag-rotate kayo sa ER, okay? Darating si Lola, laging si Lola. Okay? Doktora, nga po, malagnat ya. Po. Okay? So the Lola gave oral paracetamol. Okay? And then the patient did not tolerate the oral paracetamol. Okay? And you instructed rectal paracetamol. Is it safe to give rectal paracetamol, suppository? Yes, but what will be the downside of rectal administration of acetaminophen?
Yung dosage po niya.
Dosage is?
Since kailangan po ng higher po.
Okay, higher dose. The dosage for acetaminophen or paracetamol is 10 to 15 mg per kilo per dose. When you give it per rectum, suppository, the dose is 10 to 20 mg per kilo per dose. Why?
Lower po yung bioavailability.
Okay, because of the lower bioavailability. Okay? And you also give rectal suppository because of the contraction. Sometimes, the suppository may not stay in the rectum. Okay? There's also a lag time for rectal administration of drug for acetaminophen. The lag time is 40 minutes compared to 10 minutes when you give it per orem. So, which among these two would have a rapid onset of effect? Per orem or rectal? Per orem. Okay? Because of the lag time of rectal administration of your acetaminophen. Okay? However, since the patient cannot tolerate oral para, you can give rectal acetaminophen. But if the patient is suffering from diarrhea, I do not recommend rectal administration of acetaminophen because the absorption would be much lesser. Okay? So another example of rectal drug that you usually encounter among pediatric patients is diazepam. So when you see patient at the ER suffering from seizure, particularly febrile seizure, which is common among 6 months to 6 years old, okay, you can give rectal diazepam. Kasi syempre, di ba, pag nasa ER na, sometimes it's difficult to insert an IV line. So you can give rectal diazepam. So these are the physiologic alteration on drug absorption that would depend on the route of administration. What about distribution? So there are factors that would affect the distribution classified as drug factors, the lipid solubility, ionized form, high protein binding. So which among these two have higher absorption, yung ionized or unionized? Which is better absorbed, ionized or unionized? Better absorbed is unionized. Which among these two can readily cross the lipid membrane? Ionized and unionized? Hey, yung ano ko doon, hindi siya. Okay? Wala lang. Sige, next. Body composition. Okay? And protein binding. So, ano bang pinagsasabi ni Doktora? Kayo na nasa lecture nyo na. So, kahit kasi may lecture kayo, if you did not read the book, okay, mahirap siyang intindihin ng konti. So, drug distribution. So, drug-specific physiochemical factor, the molecular size. So, which among these two would be readily, would have a greater transfer? High molecular weight or low? Siyempre, yung mas maliit. Okay, next, P-glycoprotein, your drug transporter. They influence the extent to which drug crosses the membrane, particularly sa mga blood-brain barrier, blood tissue protein binding, and tissue pH and perfusion. So when we say distribution, we refer to the volume of distribution. How do you define or how do you explain volume of distribution? Yes, Doc, Glenn. What is volume of distribution, Glenn? Yes, kaya mo yan, Glenn. Sige, volume of distribution.
Total amount of drug present in the body relative to its concentration.
Okay, so for example, you give 1 gram of drug and you dissolve it in 1 liter of water. And then when you check on the concentration of the drug, it is 50 milligram per liter. What is the volume of distribution of this drug? Caceres?
At bigyan niyo yung mic.
Meron pang isang mic. What is the volume of distribution? So you gave 1 gram, dissolved in 1 liter, and then when you check the concentration, it is 50 milligram per liter. So how do you compute for the volume of distribution? So it is defined as the total amount of drug present in the body relative to its concentration in the blood. It's like giving 1 gram IV in the blood, and then you check the serum level, it is 50 milligram per liter. So what is the volume of distribution of this drug? It is 1,000 divided by 50. Okay. So it is 20. Okay. So in pediatric patient, they have higher amount of water. So if there is higher amount of water, what will be the effect of on the drug which are water soluble? So dito, kung halimbawa, mataas ang VD, meaning low concentration in the blood. Example, so same drug, 1 gram. Okay? But the volume is, kasi less ang water, is only, you dissolve it in 1 liter, and then when you check the serum concentration, it is 100 milligrams per liter. So the VD for drug B is 1,000 divided by 100 is 10. Okay? So the lower the VD, the higher the concentration in the blood. So what is now the effect of VD, knowing that your patient, pediatric patient, have higher water content compared to adults, especially among aminoglycosides which are water soluble? Yes. Ayan. So, premature. So, kung mapapansin nyo, mas madaming water, 80% of premature water content. Elderly, 54%. As you increase the age, you decrease the water content. So, what is now the implication of knowing this with aminoglycoside, which is water soluble?
The drug concentration, since there is higher body water concentration among pediatric patients, there will be a lower drug concentration. So when administering drug we could administer a higher dosage for pediatric patient as compared to adults.
Okay. So since more water and you're giving aminoglycoside, which is a water-soluble drug, you need to give higher dosage, okay, to obtain the therapeutic or desired effect. Nakuha? Kung bakit? Ayan siya. So, at birth, okay, or fetus newborn, aminoglycoside have a volume distribution of 0.4 to 0.7 liters per kilo. Because among newborn, there is high in ECF volume. But after 24 hours to several days, there will be diuresis. So, decreasing the ECF and expanding the ICF. Kaya the VD of aminoglycoside would be 0.2 to 0.3. Okay? So, for this drug to produce its same effect to different age group, you need to increase the dose of for the fetus. Naku ha? Naintindihan? Bakit ganito ang dosage ng aminogly na amikacin? So, aminogly are your ami, genta, strepto. So, for less than 29 weeks post-conceptional age, 0 to 7 days, the dose is 18 mg per kilo per dose, interval of 48 hours. For more than 28 days old, so 15 mg per kilo per dose, interval of 24 hours. Okay? So, there will be higher dosage for a younger patient. Naku ha? So, pag nakita niya, bakit kasi ang dami pang mga minimemorize pag pedia? Okay? So, in-explain lang natin, ang gagawin na lang natin, i-memorize ito. So, for more than 38 weeks, 0 to 7, 15, 18 to 24 hours interval. But why will there be difference in the interval? Later, di-discuss natin because of the clearance naman ang effect niya. Okay? So, next, albumin. So, protein. So, albumin would bind to your acidic drugs. Your alpha-1 acid glycoprotein would bind to your basic drugs. And the absolute concentration is influenced by age, nutrition, as well as disease. So, another factor that affect drug distribution are the level of protein. Okay? So, halimbawa, you give diazepam. So, in pediatric patient, increase or decrease ang protein? Decrease. Okay. So, if you give diazepam, kunwari, 3 milligrams, patient A to patient B. Patient A, 6 months old. Patient B, 5 years old. Okay? So, diazepam, highly protein bound. So, same dose, 3 milligram. If the protein binding to patient A is, to patient B is 98%. So, how many milligrams will be unbound? Remember that the unbound or free drug would produce its effect. So, 3 times 98%, paki-compute. 2.94. Hindi kaya ng daliri.
2.94.
So, 2.94 is the bound. Okay? Kasi 98% protein bound. The remaining would be 0.06 milligrams would be the free unbound. That produces its effect. But for a patient, younger patient, which has lower protein binding and lower level of protein, kung 90% lang ang protein bind, same dose, how many will be unbound?
2.7.
0.3?
0.03.
0.3? Mas mataas. So, same dose, which among these two would you expect to have an adverse effect? Yung A. So, same dose pero different ang effect niya. Kasi less ang protein binding dito. Okay? So, knowing that, you need to adjust the dose. So, next. Pakibasa, doktora. Yes, doktora. Ikaw na.
AG, 5-day-old male, weighs 3.4 kilograms and is admitted for neonatal sepsis, meningitis, treatment with ampicillin and gentamicin, blood culture with heavy growth of E. coli. The organism appears to be sensitive to a wide range of antibiotics, including penicillin, ceftriaxone.
What generation is ceftriaxone? First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Third generation. Next.
Gentamicin and sulfamethoxazole trimetoprim.
What is the mechanism of action of sulfamethoxazole trimetoprim? Reyes? Dr. Reyes? Sulfamethoxazole trimetoprim.
Inhibits the
DNA gyrase. Do you agree? Which inhibits DNA gyrase? What drug inhibits DNA? Your quinolones. Mechanism of action of sulfamethoxazole trimetoprim. Dalawang enzyme.
Sa vitamin B9.
Folic acid. Okay? So your dihydroxystrate synthase and reductase. Okay. So, what would your recommendation be for AG continuing treatment? So, sepsis started with sepsis, meningitis, ampigenta, heavy growth of E. coli. Ayan ang kanyang sensitivity. So, for blood culture, they will list the sensitivity as well as resistance. Okay? So, syempre, you do not prescribe the resistance. So, what would be your plan of management for AG, Dr. Reyes?
Continue the treatment po.
Okay. Why would, yes, the correct answer is you would continue. Why? Why not give the other drugs?
As long as there is improvement po, Doc, we don't need to change the drugs based on the sensitivity.
Okay, so number 1, nag-improve naman. What about on the pharmacokinetic properties of the drugs? Why would you not give ceftriaxone? Okay, why not give sulfamethoxazole in this patient? A 5-day-old. Yes, Dr. Dominguez? Kasi yung isang mic. Why not give? Kasi sensitive naman siya. Sabi niya, nagtitipid yung lola. Sabi niya, Doktora, mas mura ang sulfamethoxazole, trimethoprim. Pwede yun na lang. But how would you explain to the relative that you cannot give ceftriaxone and sulfamethoxazole in your apo? Yes? Dominguez? Saan yung isang mic? Mike, where are you? Eto.
Doc, high protein bound na po kasi yung drugs. So parang po dun sa case kanina, yung A versus B, mas magkakaroon po siya, since yung case po niya is highly protein bound nga po siya nun, mas magkakaroon po siya ng adverse effect dun sa patient.
Anong adverse effect?
Ng sulfamethoxazole po. Kernicterus.
Why will there be kernicterus?
Kasi po yung sa albumin, magkakaroon po siya ng attachment or magkakaroon po ng displacement.
Kanino siya nakikipag-compete to cause kernicterus? With your?
Indirect bilirubin.
With your bilirubin. Okay? So si albumin, nakabind siya kay bilirubin. Darating si ceftri, darating si sulfa. So they would compete with albumin. So releasing the bilirubin. That's why in patient, neonate, we do not give sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim because they compete with albumin binding to your bilirubin, releasing or increasing the level of your bilirubin, leading to kernicterus. Okay, so that is the rationale. Why? Number 1, because there's improvement, so continue. Second, adverse effect of the 2 drug. So we do not give sulfamethoxazole, trimethoprim to less than 2 months old because of the risk of kernicterus. And we do not, though ceftriaxone is approved for use among neonate, if the patient is at risk for developing hyperbilirubinemia, we rarely use ceftriaxone because knowing that ceftriaxone is highly protein bound and can compete with your bilirubin. Okay? So these are the impact of protein binding rate and daily dosage of drug on the total serum bilirubin level in infant. So depending on the protein binding capacity and daily dosage, some drugs are considered safe and do not significantly upregulate bilirubin levels. So this summarizes from Nelson the drug binding in pediatrics. So next, drug metabolism. So what is the organ that is responsible for drug metabolism? The main organ. Though the different drugs may be metabolized in the different organs, the main site would still be your liver. So when we say drug metabolism, it refers to your phase 1 and phase 2 reaction. Ano yung nasa phase 1? Your mga
Yung oxidation reaction.
with phase 2 glucuronidation. Okay, so in here you would also be encountering yung mga cytochrome P450 enzyme. Okay? So drug metabolism involves 2 phases, and the drug metabolizing activities and oxidases are substantially lower. So knowing that they are lower, what will be the effect on the drug response? Nasaan na si Mike? So knowing that the drug metabolizing enzyme is lower among pediatric patient, what will be the effect on the drugs that you give?
Mas mag-i-stay po siya
So slow clearance. And then, so if there is slow clearance, what will be the effect? It may cause toxicity. And how would you now address the drug metabolizing enzyme issue among pediatric patient? By lowering the dosage. Okay? Ayan. So the drug metabolizing enzymes are grouped into 3 based on the stages that they are seen. Okay? So fetal period to 1 to 2 years old, low level of CYP3A7. So most of the drugs, di ba, in basic pharma, we have noted that most of them are metabolized by your CYP3A4. So kapag hindi alam ang sagot, CYP3A4. Okay? Acetaminophen, E. Okay? And then your PPI, CYP2C19. And then group 2 are as follows, and group 3. So at third trimester, ayan, to 1 to 2 years, high level of the following metabolizing enzymes. Ayan, patterns lang. So glucuronide formation occurs between, or the adult levels is seen between 3 to 4 years of life. So these drugs, okay, that are metabolized through glucuronidation, so what will be the effect if you give morphine to a neonate? What will be the effect if you give morphine to a neonate? Doktora? Sabi niya, glucuronidation, 3 to 4 years of life, adult level. And the following drugs would undergo glucuronidation. So what will be the effect if you give morphine at the usual dose to preterm and neonate? Or you give chloramphenicol. What is the mechanism of action of chloramphenicol, Doktora? Chloram? Any volunteer? Chloram? Chloramphenicol? Chloramphenicol? Beta-lactam ba siya? Protein synthesis inhibitor ba siya? Macrolide? Yes?
Yes.
Protein synthesis inhibitor. So what would happen if you give chloramphenicol to a neonate? Yes, Doktora? Why will there be gray baby syndrome manifested as cardiovascular collapse? Okay? Why will there be gray baby syndrome? Mike, use the mic.
Because morphine won't be cleared from the body because of no glucuronide formation. So there will be morphine in the body. And
No, gray baby syndrome, chloramphenicol, not morphine.
Sorry,
Yeah.
chloramphenicol. And then there would be high dose of chloramphenicol in the body because of less clearance, which would cause cardiovascular
Not because of the clearance, because less glucuronidation or process. So the metabolism of your chloramphenicol would be lesser, and it may stay in the systemic circulation for a longer period of time, so increasing the level of chloramphenicol in the body. Kaya remember, do not give chloram among neonate. Okay? Hydrolytic enzyme reduced in neonate, adult esterase 10 to 12 months. Ayan. So comparison. So acetaminophen, if you would notice, the half-life is 2.225 among neonate, and half-life among adult is 0.9 to 2.2. Why? Doktora, next. Why is the half-life of acetaminophen different from neonates and adult? Doktora? Bakit neonate half-life niya 2.2 to 5?
Like you said earlier, for yung sa metabolism.
Yes. How is acetaminophen metabolized? By? Yung kanina. Okay. Kaya, half-life is longer. Okay? So, yan ang ibig sabihin ng table. So, next is excretion. So, the last part of the pharmacokinetic difference would be the excretion. And what will be the main site or main organ for drug excretion? Kidney. Okay? So, for kidney, GFR is lower in the newborn. So there are some drugs that are excreted by glomerular filtration like your vancomycin and aminoglycoside, and some by tubular secretion like your penicillin, cephalosporin, furosemide, okay? So knowing that there is decrease in the GFR and tubular secretion, how would you now address the issue? So if you would memorize the drug for AMPI, for less than 7 days old, the dose for ampicillin is 50 to 100 milligrams Q12 compared to a 1-week-old child, which is 100 to 200 milligram Q8. Why is there a difference in the dosing schedule of ampicillin for this patient? Glenn? Why is for a less than 7 days old Q12, AMPI Q8?
Feeling ko lang po, Dok, kasi pag tumatanda yung patient, mas nagmamature yung organ niya. So, may yung renal function po niya tumataas. So, I think mas kailangan pong damihan yung dosage niya compared dun sa mas less yung age or like yung less than 7 days po yung patient.
Okay, so with drug excretion, you adjust the frequency. Okay, since ampicillin is excreted by tubular secretion, and knowing that tubular secretion is reduced among neonate, so you adjust the dose by prolonging the interval. So AMPI, Q12, and then for more than 7 days old, 3 times a day, or Q8. So these are the impact of the developmental renal drug elimination, ayan, GFR. So how would you know whether to adjust kung Q8 ko ba siya or Q12 ko siya? So memorize na lang natin. Okay, kaysa balikan natin ang basic pharma. Sino ba lahat ng mga tubular secretion? Sino ba lahat ng mga glomerular filtration? Parang mas maano yun. Okay? So ang gusto ko lang dito is that you understand why is for less than 7 days old, Q12 siya. Okay? You would encounter ampicillin in your pediatric rotation. Mostly sepsis, we start with ampicillin Genta or ampi-cefo. Why is Genta given OD or minsan, depending on the age, every 24-48 hours? Okay? Because of the excretion. So when I give a case, you identify what factor affects the dosage. Is it the absorption, the distribution, the metabolism, or the excretion? Okay? So ayan. As you increase the age, GFR increases. So with amikacin, an aminoglycoside, so for less than 29 age of gestation, the interval is 2 days. As you increase the age, the interval is lesser, 12 to 18 hours. Because as you increase the age, your glomerular filtration matures. So we have a patient, 1.8 kilo, AC given AMPI, 50 mg IV Q12, Genta 2.5 IV OD. Next patient, BM, 2 months old. Same drug, AMPI 50 Q6, Genta 2.5 Q8. Why is there a difference in the dosing of your AMPI and Genta for patient A and B? Bakit iba? Parehas lang naman silang may sakit. Parehas lang AMPI Genta. Bakit yung isa OD, yung isa Q8? Any volunteer? Yes, Doc? Doctor? Why is the dosing regimen for the 2 patients different? They only receive the same drug, AMPI and Genta. Because?
The age difference.
Saan yung mic?
So Doc, you can notice there's an age difference. So the first one, AC, she's an infant girl. But the second patient, BM, is a 2-month-old. So Doc, we can assume, as we discussed before, we can assume that since this the BM is older, so his GFR would be higher than AC, and hence Doc, so the drug would remain longer in AC.
Okay, because the main reason here is because of the clearance, so GFR. That's why you can give Genta Q8 for BM, which is a 2-month-old, compared to an infant, 1.8 kilo, 38 weeks, you give it OD. Okay? So for glomerular filtration, drugs that are excreted by glomerular filtration, you reduce the frequency. For tubular secretion, you increase also the interval. Kasi diba, if you would recall, AMPI is a time-dependent antibiotics. So dapat Q6 siya. Okay? But then since why it was given Q12 because of the immaturity of your kidney, reducing the tubular secretion. So how would you now compute for the AMPI? If the weight of AC is 1.85 kilos and the dose is for AMPI is 50 milligram per kilo Q12 hours. So this means 50 milligram per kilo, pwede siyang per dose, dapat nakalagay, per day dapat nakalagay. Pero kung Q12, the dose for AMPI is 100 eh. So it is per dose dito. So how would you now order your ampicillin? So 1.85 times 50 is, paki-compute? So you order ampicillin, ilan? 92.5 milligrams IV every 12 hours. Okay? What about gentamicin? Gentamicin, 1.85 times 2.5. 4.65. Actually, pwede namang i-round off. Okay? Pwede siyang 93, pwede siyang 5. Okay? Milligrams IV once a day. Okay? If you know the preparation of the vial, much better. Okay? And then you compute the amount of drug to be given. Pero in clinical practice, doctors order usually ganito. Okay? So when you order the drug, kung sa doctor's order, dire-diretso lang. But when you prescribe a drug per orem, generic, below is the brand name, and then the signa. Okay? So, ito, parenteral kasi. Okay? Nakuha? So, kung halimbawa may lagnat si PM, and then you ordered paracetamol. Paracetamol, kung halimbawa per orem, the preparation is 100 milligrams per ml. And the dosage for paracetamol is 10 milligram per kilo per dose. How many ml would you give? So 1.85 kilo times 10 milligram per kilo. So cancel kilogram. 1.85 times 10 is 18.5 milligrams. But the preparation of paracetamol is 100 milligram per ml. So times, so cross multiply kasi you want to know how many ml to give. Di naman siya pwedeng, painumin mo ng 1.85 milligrams. Ha? Ano po yun? Okay? So, for every ml, there is 100 milligrams. Cancel milligrams. 18.5 times 1 divided by 100 is 0.185 or 0.2. Okay? So, kung may decimal siya, always place 0 and then decimal point 2. Do not just write 0.2. Okay? Because the decimal point may be seen as, baka ito, akala nila 2 ml. So, kung may decimal, always write 0 before the decimal. So, 0.2 ml. So, when you prescribe paracetamol, 100 mg per ml, kung may brand, Tempra, give 0.2 ml every 4 hours for fever. For your prescription writing, I want you to write the indication. Okay? For you to understand, memorize, why was the drug given. Okay? So, dapat merong dispense. One. Pero syempre, doctor's order yan. Kapag doctor's order, dire-diretso lang. Pero when you prescribe, pag ganyan siya. Okay? Mamaya, describe mo na. So, this patient admitted with osteomyelitis. Okay, so you need to determine the crea clearance in a patient receiving vancomycin. So the formula we use in pediatric patient would be clearance is equal to 0.48 times height over serum creatinine. Okay? So in here, what will be the computed clearance for FG? Any volunteer? If this is the formula, what will be the computed creatinine clearance for FG who receives vancomycin? Can you compute? O, Kat, nandito ka na. So, 0.48 times height in centimeters, 140. How many centimeters is 1 inch? 2.54. Okay? Baka nalagay ko sa case, nasa inch pala siya. So, kailangan convert nyo. Kaya nasa meter pala siya. Okay? Kasi di ba inaano nila minsan, 5 feet. Okay? So, paano nyo ko-convert ang 5 feet? 5 to siya. 5 feet 2 inches. So, convert first yung 1 foot, how many inches? 12. So, convert nyo muna yun. 12 plus 2. So, 14 inches times 2.54 centimeter. Ha? Kasi di ba 1 foot, 12 inches. 5 to ang height. So, 12 plus 2, kasi, 12 times 5, kasi 5 siya. 60 plus 2. 62 times 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Hindi na kaya ng aking kamay. Okay? So that will be the height in centimeters. So the computed crea clearance is, so 0.48 times height divided by serum crea, 134.4. Okay? So this summarizes the developmental changes in drug disposition. So GI, yan, peristalsis, pH, gastric emptying. So the clinical implication, delay in the onset of action following oral administration and reduced bioavailability. Integument, enhanced percutaneous bioavailability leading to potential toxicity. Body compartment, so decreased fat, high body water, so requirement for higher weight doses to achieve plasma drug concentration. Protein binding, for highly protein bound, need to adjust the dose to maintain plasma level. For drug metabolizing enzyme, increase dosing interval or reduce maintenance dose because decreased metabolism prolonging the half-life. Renal drug excretion, increase dosing interval because of immature glomerular filtration as well as tubular secretion. So there are different preparation for your drugs. It can be in elixir or suspension. We rarely prescribe tablets in pediatric patient kasi syempre, difficult to swallow. So you consider the compliance as well as preparation and ability of the patient to take the drug. So pag suspension, undissolved particles, kaya di ba yung one commercial, you need to shake the drug. Okay? So in pediatric dosage, computation for the dosage, based from Katsung, you can use Young's rule, adult dose times age in years, divide by age plus 12. So using Young's rule, so example, so if the adult dose is 500 milligram, and the age of the patient is 2 years old, so age in years, adult dose times 2, divide by 2 plus 12. So this is 1,000 divide by 14. So what will be the dose? 71.43. So using Young's rule. Using Clark's rule, you use the weight. So adult dose, 500 times the weight in kilogram. What is the ideal body weight of a 2-year-old child? What is the ideal body weight of a 2-year-old child? Pedya? 2 times 2 plus 8, so 12. Okay? So 12 kilogram. Okay? Divide by 70. 500 times 12 is 6,000. Divide by 70. 85.71. Okay? So, for example, this is paracetamol. So, the dose for paracetamol is 10 milligram per kilo per dose. So, what will be the dose for this 2-year-old child weighing 12 kilogram? So, 12 kilo times 10 is 120 milligram. Okay? So, depende rin yan. Okay? So, anong susundan natin? So, during the exam, I would ask you, what will be the dose for this patient using Young's rule, using Clark's rule? And what will be the dose for, halimbawa, cefuroxime? So, for cefuroxime, if I didn't ask based on Young's rule or Clark's rule, I refer to the dose from Nelson's or from Harriet Lane. So, cefuroxime, 20 to 30 milligram per kilo per day, Q12. Maximum is 1,000 milligram per day. Okay? So, if your computed dosage is beyond the adult dose, do not exceed the adult dose. Because there are some patients who are obese. Okay? 10 years old lang siya, pero weight niya 80 kilos. Always remember that you do not exceed the maximum dose or the adult dose. Another method of computing for the pediatric dosage is using the BSA from Katsung. So example niya dito is yung 3 months old, wherein it is 18% of the adult dose. So if the dose for adult is 1 milligram per kilo, so times 0.18 kasi 18%. So for a 3-month-old, the dosage would be 0.18 milligram per kilo. If the weight of the patient is 6 kilo, so times 6, anong dosage?
1.0.
So 1.08 milligram ang dosage. Okay? So ito, sorry, pero kailangan nyo i-memorize. Okay? Kaya na natin tapusin. Sandali na lang yan. Okay? With the prescription, writing, and computation, I'll teach you more sa next meeting natin. I want you to bring your own calculator. Okay? So, for the exam and discussion of the case, I'll check on I'll check your knowledge on the prescription writing din. Because I'm very particular with the format. As endorsed by the previous batch, all or none ang prescription writing. Okay? So, pag meron kulang, 0 na agad yun. Okay? So, I'm very particular with prescription writing. So, next, drugs during lactation. So, patient or a mother would also ask, Doktora, may lagnat ako, anong pwede kong inumin ng gamot? Okay, pwede ba akong mag-antibiotics? Okay, so pag nagtanong siya, you should know what are the drugs that can be safely given during breastfeeding and those drugs that are contraindicated during breastfeeding. So, these are the drugs listed from Nelson's. So, most drugs administered in lactating women are detectable in breast milk at a low dose, but there are some drugs that can pass through the breast milk. Example is isoniazid. When the patient or when the mother is taking isoniazid, what will be the effect in the neonate? Breastfeeding infant, what will be the effect of isoniazid? Pyridoxine deficiency. Okay? So, you should memorize what are those drugs that are contraindicated and that can be safely given. Okay? The drug should be taken 30 to 60 minutes after nursing or 3 to 4 hours before the next feeding. So, based from Katsung naman yan. And what will be the effect? Hindi ko siya iisahin kasi ang memorize ito. Okay? What about pharmacokinetic therapy in pregnancy? There are some drugs wherein you give it to the pregnant mother and that drug has an effect to the fetus. So there are factors that affect placental drug transfer and drug effects on the fetus. And these are the following factors like physiochemical properties, okay? The rate at which drug crosses the placenta. Like if the drug is highly lipid soluble, it can readily cross the placenta. So increased transfer if the drug is highly lipophilic, has smaller molecular weight like warfarin, placental transporter is absent, and low affinity to your albumin. So these factors would increase the transfer of the drug from the mother to the fetus. So placenta itself plays a role as a semi-permeable membrane, and drug that crosses the placenta via umbilical vein would enter the liver, they are metabolized before entering the fecal circulation. So for maternal drug action, for example, because of the endocrine environment, some drugs may be needed by the mother, like your cardiac glycoside and diuretics, which is precipitated by increasing the workload, which may lead to heart failure. Okay? Dahil pregnant siya, you give another drug. Because in pregnancy, there is increase in cardiac workload, so it can precipitate heart failure. So next is therapeutic drug action in the fetus, wherein you give the drug to the mother, phenobarbital, but the action of that drug is for the fetus because your phenobarbital can induce fetal hepatic enzyme, so it would increase the glucuronidation of bilirubin, reducing the risk for hyperbilirubinemia. So you give a drug to the mother, but the effect is on the fetus. Okay? Next, predictable toxic drug action in the fetus like opioids. The mother is taking opioids and the adverse effect may be seen in the fetus like neonatal withdrawal syndrome. Also, ACE inhibitor. Can you give an example of ACE inhibitor? What example of ACE inhibitor? ACE inhibitor. So I. Example. Example. Yes, example.
Captopril.
Okay. So ACE inhibitor, yung mga il-il, captopril, lisinopril. Okay? What about ARB? Example. Losartan. Okay? Both of them, ARB and ACE inhibitor, are contraindicated in pregnancy because they may cause irreversible renal damage. So, pag Pedia-Pharma ang topic, hindi lang kinetics. You should recall the drug classification. Okay? So, the drugs listed for breastfeeding, the drug listed for teratogenic mechanism or teratogen, you should know the drug classification of those drugs din. Okay? And then, predictable teratogenic drug action, wherein if the mother is exposed to thalidomide between 4 to 7 months, 8 weeks of age of gestation, it may lead to phocomelia. So what are the mechanism of teratogen? So they can cause direct effect on maternal tissue, or they may interfere with the passage of oxygen and nutrients through the placenta. Example is your ACE inhibitor. So direct action on the processes of differentiation in developing tissue like your vitamin A. Kaya di ba, pag nagpapaderma, when they prescribe isotretinoin, they advise the patient not to be pregnant at least 3 months. Okay? Because vitamin A is highly teratogenic. Deficiency of critical substances like folic acid. What will be the effect of folic acid deficiency? It can lead to neural tube defect. Kaya, before pregnancy, we prescribe folic acid supplementation. So, a teratogen would depend on the age of exposure. Okay? So, 0 to 16, blastocyst formation. If the teratogen was exposed to the patient between organogenesis, the risk for having a teratogenic effect is very high. Ayan. So, AM, early pregnancy, if alkylating agent and antimetabolite were given to the mother, they are highly teratogenic. Okay? ACE inhibitor, contraindicated in pregnant, especially in second and third trimester because of the risk of renal damage in the patient. Carbamazepine, neural tube defect, when given on the first to second trimester. Warfarin on the late trimester can cause CNS malformation, and warfarin increase the risk of bleeding. So when we say teratogenic effect, it does not only depend on the congenital malformation. It also refers to the following, pwedeng IUGR or intrauterine growth retardation, miscarriage, or neurocognitive delay. So they are classified, the drugs. So if you would check on the drug formulary, nakalagay din doon, or Medscape, okay, or Medline, they would tell teratogenic risk category, whether B, C, D, or X. Okay? Also in the Medscape drug bank, for uniformity on the reference, I'll be using drug bank. Okay? Pwede siyang i-download, drugbank.com. Okay? So, they would also note whether the drug can be safely given to pregnant or nursing mother. So, ayan, example, carbamazepine. Okay? What is the FDA teratogenic risk category of carbamazepine? Is it A, B, C, D, or X? These are the definition for A, B, C, D, X. Okay? Anong drug class teratogenic risk category? Nasaan na yung mic natin? Saan na yung mic? Nawawala na si Mike? Ha? Tinago? Teratogenic risk category of carba is D. Okay? Cefuroxime. B. Can be safely given. Clarithromycin is C. Okay? And then captopril, do not give it because it can cause renal damage. So, X. Ayan. Sa Katsum, na-memorize nyo. And sa Williams din. Okay? And sa Nelson. Siyempre, baka magtampo si Nelson at saka si Williams, kaya sinama ko sila. Okay? Na i-memorize. Hindi ko i-explain to kasi memorize lang talaga siya. Okay? Yun lang. Thank you. Oh, Christmas na. Ay, yan ang regalo ko sa inyo. Parang ayaw? Do you have any question? So, do you understand why is the dosing different from pediatric at saka adult? Okay, so pag halimbawa clerks na kayo, nag-rotate kayo, okay? Nung minsan nag-rounds ako, may mga clerks, okay? Nagmamadali lang ako, hindi ako nakapagtanong sa clerk. So dapat, okay? Ay, doktora, why is it, you can suggest during your clerkship, okay? So if the drug was ordered ampicillin, Q12, neonate, Q6, ampicillin Q6, Doktora, can we adjust the dose to Q12 po? Kasi po, hindi pa po develop ang kanyang kidney, tubular secretion is reduced, o diba? Kaya mag-ano kayo? Pwede naman mag-suggest. Okay? Kasi during clerkship, they will ask you of the dosage. Kaya, as early as now, you need to memorize the dosage. So, I'll be giving the list of drugs that you need to memorize. Yung commonly used in pediatric patient. So, in pedia rotation, we rarely see mga cardiac patient, madalang lang. Mostly, antibiotics, pneumonia, okay, meningitis, Kawasaki, AGE, hydration. So, in pedia rotation, you need to bring your own calculator. Hindi talaga mawawala ang calculator. So, na-love nyo na ang pedya. So, malay nyo, kalahati sa inyo mag-pedya, di ba? So, di ba? Magkakaano tayo sa society, pedya. So, hope to see you sa PPS. May question ba? So, next week, tuturuan ko kayo pa more examples sa computation. Kasi medyo, alam ko, kung magko-compute tayo ngayon, nagugutom na. May question? Wala? Okay. So, next Tuesday, case discussion, and then quiz. Okay? So, good luck.
Test na lang po yung case.
Oo. I will upload the case sa my class, and then you need to print. Ayoko yung, ano kasi yung sa iPad, yung digital. I want it handwritten. You use, ano ba yung wala sa digital na color? Parang lahat meron, no? Para ma-check ko na personal, kayo talagang nagsulat. Okay? Blue ink. Okay, blue ink. And then, you need to upload for individual exercise sa Canvas din. Okay? And then, yung sa group, you need to upload the video recording. And then another, di ba, yung sa evaluation nyo, gusto nyo madaming mga activities. So, as promise, so pinakinggan ko kayo, may role play. Okay. Alam niyo naman, pinakikinggan ko kayo. Biro lang. Okay? So, if you have any concern, always ask na lang. Nandyan lang ako lang. So, thank you for your kind attention. See you on Tuesday.
Thank you po, Doc.
See you later pala for the orientation. Na-announce na? Okay.
Bye, guys. Huli ka, Kat? Check. Ito lang. Ano? Chinek nyo? Sabi ni Pat, okay lang. Pero nagugulo talaga sila. Okay lang siguro. Yung balay